Now it's in function. Today we're gonna look at a lot of different stuff in ASK, obviously. But before doing that, we will just go into the ASK file you did, or we all did last time, where we tried with co-current and countercurrent flow regime. So I will open my ASK file, and I hope you can open yours. 2 seconds. Oops. Not this one, it was this one here. When you open an ASK file, which have been closed down, it automatically is transferred into the Citrix server, so it's all saved on an external server. So actually everyone can go into an ASK file. If they have the permissions, they can open it, they can continue calculating it, they can copy from it, take an item for it, or make a complete copy of the ASK file. That's the advantage about working on a server. Disadvantage is, of course, it makes it a lot more slow than if you were working locally on your own laptop or hard drive. But each time you open an ASK file, you always have to put yourself on revision and then say edit all. Are you sure to check out items from the server? Now I'm checking out the items from the server, and they are now locally on my computer, so now I can work in it. Always say edit all when you drag in a file. And always be positioned on the revision level of the one you want to drag in, obviously. If I had more revisions here, I would have dragged in revision 2, for example. It's like lending a book from the library and then returning it when you close down the ASK file. Last time, what we didn't manage to finish was this water cooler, where we started with a countercurrent scenario, where I had 10 cubic meter water from 20 to 5, using propylene glycol, 30%, 20,000 liters, and -3. Then I did an alternative duty in co-current, and we immediately found out that I needed to increase the glycol flow, or else I would have had temperature crossover here. So for example, if I try to lower this to 20, as it was on the countercurrent, you see I have crossed, the temperatures are meeting each other. And of course that is not acceptable or not possible. So therefore I need to increase the flow rate here. So I added 5,000 liter more, and now we have a delta T in this end of the cooling. Is that clear to all?
Yes.
I hope so. Yep. Save. So now I have a duty where I want to make a solution to. Since this is a water duty or water glycol duty, I believe I will use the auto-select cheapest function and see what the program gives me of solutions. When it's water, I don't have to take all these food things into consideration, meaning velocities and ports, etc., etc. CIP, blah, blah, blah. So I will now, instead of going here for solution and add duty manually, I will press the green one, and then it automatically jumps into auto selection like this. Then I have set up the filter. It comes up with, it's because I'm calculating in Axflow's customer number. I am then, it has a predefined filter when I'm calculating on Axflow's DC's customer number. But one thing here, see the design temperature is 95, 10 bar, and minimum design metal temperature is -20. But minimum design temperature is set to 0. The thing is, if I start now, I will not get any solutions because remember, or note that I have -3 here. So I will actually be outside the design parameters I set here. So therefore it will not select anything for me. So I have to go in and set this one, and I will set it to -10. Then the program should be able to give us some solutions. Then we could say it's a water. We will only allow single pass solutions. Then I say start. And now it's looking at 556, and it hasn't found anything yet. Let's hope it finds something. See, what happened here is that it came up with some pre-configured types with a fixed part number or material or part number on it. But these cannot be used because they are actually not available. And therefore you also see no list price. But to show you how to get around of this, I actually think we will select this one, and then I will show you how to change it to something available. So I place my cursor on this solution and I say select as solution. Now it has selected the solution over here. Then I go over to the tree. Yes, yeah. You see, it has up here selected a pre-configured solution. But we don't have any pricing, we don't have anything on this one. So we go this drop down and say configured gasket plate heat exchanger. And now we have something. It has kept the plate arrangement, and it has also, and now you're getting confused, kept the SR2 heat exchanger, even though it here says VO17. Now it gets a little bit complicated. The VO17 is the PHE group, but if we look here, the plate type is an SR2. I know it's a little bit difficult, but the plate type is an SR2, but it is within the family of VO17. Okay. What did it give us? It gave us relatively cheap heat exchanger with 15% excess area. It gives us a solution under the 1 bar we entered in. I think we entered in 1 bar. And it gives us a solution where we have a velocity of fitting or port velocity under 6 meters per second. 6 meters per second is when we are talking about water in industrial and also sanitary connections, but 6 meters is the maximum when we're talking about non-food products. So this solution actually looks fine. Note here, just to show you. Note here we are talking about not 60 and 30-degree angle plates, but that's because the pattern type on this SR2 has a little bit difference in angles. So for this one, you can get 45-degree plates, 60, 67-degree plates. And you can also get 0-degree plates actually. But so this is a mix combination here, mix here, and straight long, mix again, and straight soft. So you got many possibilities for plate angles on this specific plate type. But always use the guideline here. If you have entered in a realistic pressure drop, and of course a realistic duty here, then you can rely on the guidelines that it comes up with here on this specific type of heat exchanger. So keep it as it is. Okay. Now we want to check how this heat exchanger will react on the countercurrent duty. So here we were on this picture plate heat exchanger. In order to move a duty to a solution, go to solution data, and then take the duty here and push it over to the heat exchanger. So now it's over here as an alternative duty. Then you can go back here and have a look at it. And you immediately see that even though we increased the water flow here, we are still undersurfaced by 15, more or less, if we should have it equal, we are 25% undersurfaced. Plus, because we increased the flow rate here, our pressure drop are above what we have specified. So obviously here, a countercurrent solution or flow regime or duty is the best. But you can come into cases where you need to go into co-current flow regime, and that is if you're, for example, cooling water like here. And if let me just try changing this glycol temperature, then you will see that the wall temperature gets close to 0 or underneath 0. And if that's the case, you have a potential risk of freezing to the wall, plate wall. And that's not recommended because eventually it will build up sludge ice in the heat exchanger and then starting blowing out gaskets and damage the heat exchanger. But I will just increase this one so you can see what happens with the wall temperature here. go to the duty. Then I have the duty data. Then in order to see what happens immediately, I double click on technical result. I place it here so I can see what happens here right away. And then I could, for example, say -10. You see, suddenly I have an issue here with the wall temperature. I'm also doing it at extreme here, but it was just to show you what happens here. If we go to the solution over here, we should have a warning. Yes, we have. Countercurrent hot water wall temperature is -3.8, is below freezing. So it gives you a warning, so you're aware of you have an issue here. So I will just change it back to -3. When we start doing the exercises, we will have a couple of exercises where we play with this as well, countercurrent and co-current, where you have to do your own assumptions and figure out whether it's a good idea to do it with either countercurrent or co-current. But that will be later on. So now I will say that we have covered this issue. As a beginning, we will touch the subject later on when starting doing the assignments. So I will cover this one. The next thing, according to the agenda, is how to select and use add-ons. Add-ons can be spanners, it can be ball free plates, it can be certain types of certificates, and different things. We will go through some of the most common ones selected when doing heat exchanger selections. There are a lot of add-ons, and some of them are related to pharma applications. Some of them are related to project inquiries. Some of them are related to asthma design, etc., etc. But I will go in and show you how to use them and explain some of them, what you get if you select that one. I will take this food heat exchanger up here. To get this one away from my side here is just double clicking on it, and then it jumps to its original position. Add-ons. It varies from country to country what you select or what you think is required in your specific country. But for example, in the north of Europe, or if we are selling in Denmark, as an example to Danish customers, they need to do a risk assignment to all equipment that they purchase into the dairy. So they actually need some documentation in order to prove up against the authority that the heat exchanger they purchased follow specific food guidelines, rules, and also having traceability. So when you're dealing with food customers, you know, they have to prove that the equipment that they are processing the milk in or whatever has the right material, and they can always trace back to the mill, whether we are talking about right stainless steel as an example, and also that the gaskets are traceable. So when doing heat exchangers in the north, we have mandatory things we have to select. I know that, for example, Salt, which is dealing with the emerging markets, he's not that critical with selecting these add-ons, since the main topic in emerging is to get the price as low as possible. And there is a cost for these things when we start selecting them in ASK. As an example, let's say here we have an English, that's standard, an English cover letter. We have an English nameplate, and we also have an English instruction following the heat exchanger. But if we want additional instruction manuals, they can be selected here. We could say for this one, we want a German one as well. So it puts in 2 additional. This can be changed to 1 as an example. 1 additional German manual. So now the customer will get 1 English and 1 German. If you, for example, want to change the nameplate language, that could also be a situation. You put yourself on the nameplate. And where is it? Here, nameplate language. And we want to change it into German, since we selected a German instruction up here. So you place yourself on the German and then press the green one, and then it changes this one from English to German. Then it would be logic also to have the cover letter in German. So I changed the cover letter. Okay, basic drawings. This is actually, basic drawing is the same as what you can generate in from ASK. I will show you later on how to do that. But the difference is from that drawing to the original production drawing is that you will get a drawing, actual unique drawing number to the heat exchanger. So it's not just the ASK number, it's a drawing number which is pulled out from a database for that specific type of heat exchanger with unique numbering. So the drawing number is unique for a heat exchanger, and the serial number is also unique for a heat exchanger. But it could be that this customer, he wants an as-built drawing, meaning that when the heat exchanger is finished in the production, the production guys, they measure all measures on the heat exchanger and fill them in on a final drawing for the customer. So if you, for example, want to select a as-built drawing, I'm just playing here to select different stuff, so you can see how you can select different things in here. We could, instead of a as-built drawing, I will select a 3D step file. The drawings you get together with the heat exchanger, both those you can generate and the ones the production will send to the customers, are 2D drawings. If your customer require a 3D drawing, you have to select it here in the program. Then the production will create a 3D step file for the heat exchanger. So let us just try to select that. It's relatively expensive. You see it, 1,148 euro list price. Okay, now back to what we mandatory select in North. Under certificate B, you see there's a lot of different stuff related to asthma, and these are previous marine classifications. They are no longer available, this one in the top. At some point, I believe they will be removed so they don't confuse people. But the ones we normally select is this EC declaration compliance, which complies to the European rules for gasket material in contact with foodstuff. In this certificate, it is also stated that we apply in compliance with the FDA, plus the, what is it called, ADI or something like that, which is also related to foodstuff. I can't remember it completely, but there are three general rules or approval authorities that are stated that we comply with these in this certificate here if you select that one. We normally select this one. We also select this EC declaration of conformity according to Pressure Equipment Directive. When you select, if you want to select several certificates in these lists, you can hold down Control and then mark them. In Denmark, North, we also select traceability certificates on plates and pressure parts and fittings. And some cases we also select, an electronic copy of the SPX pressure test certificate. The customer will always get a hard copy pressure test certificate together with the instruction manual, which is packed together with the heat exchanger. But a lot of times we see customers looking at the instruction and then it's thrown away. And then suddenly they don't have any documentation on the heat exchanger. So sometimes customers ask for soft copies of documentation so they're sure they have something. But again, each time you select something in the add-on, it adds to the price. Now I have a documentation package here. Then there's a lot of other stuff which you can go in and look at and see if it's relevant for your specific inquiry. But for a food heat exchanger, my normal selection choices are ball feed plates, which are small plates, which they can place underneath the ball feed on the frame. So you level out the pressure, the footprint on the dairy floor. Some want it, some don't. Again, it adds to the price, but they are relatively cheap, these ball feed plates. Sorry. Select it. Then I always select friction spanner and spray screen. I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm just saying this is normal for our heat exchanger when we quote them. If you want to go out with lowest possible price as a starting point, yeah, you should not select it. But you could select them or quote them as optional to your quote. But if you select them here, they will be included in your total price. So if you want to price them separately, you will have to take the prices from the BOM and manually write them into your quote. You see down here, you have the list prices on all of them. So you could make a copy of a snack of this one and then remove them again so that your total price up here will be without them, and then quote these add-ons as optional to the solution. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will now keep them in here. Let's say you know your heat exchanger is going to be shipped to US. Then packing can be changed down here. As a standard, it is fixed on pallet, but you could down here select seaworthy packing, and then it gives you the price for seaworthy packing. Note that this one was a sanitary heat exchanger. So on this one, I have plate stamping included. On this other one, I believe we did that with another. 2 seconds. We did that with single section A4. The other one up here was with multi-section A4. And when selecting multi-section A4, you will always get the plate stamping. This one here should be without the plate stamping. Let's check. Yes, there are no plate stamping here. And if we look here on the BUM here, you can swap between BUM and technical results. Those are the ones I use. So if I open this one again, double click, I get the prices for all the plates, the connections and everything, and I get it plate stamping. Where is that? Should be something here called plate stamping. Here it is. So 54 plates, which has to be stamped, cost 4.59 euro per plate, list price. Yes, do you want to see some more add-ons? But in basic, it is selecting from the list over here, pulling it over. You probably in the future get into semi-projects, light industrials, whatever, where you need maybe asthma or something else, and you don't know, you're in doubt which add-ons to select. But then you just contact us and we will guide you through on the first couple of ones. And then you remember that for the next one. Because there's a lot of add-ons you can select in here. If you, again, if you are, you have selected something which you didn't want included anyway, you just put yourself on it like this, and then pull it back to the list. Then it's gone. That was add-ons. Then, at least it used to be when you want to ask for confirmation on lead times. It used to be like that you had to send the bill of material to the factory, and your AskFlow guys, you will probably have to send it via the VIP, customer service VIP for AskFlow in Bydgoszcz. And others, that would be you, Alexander, and Pasilak people, Bojan and Yelena, you if you don't have a specific email address to send the BOMs for lead time confirmations on, you just send them to Salt, and he will forward them to the factory so they can confirm lead time. They actually go in on each part number and check what the stock availability are on that specific part number. But the way to generate the BOM is to put yourself on the heat exchanger here and solution up here. Then press this one on the solution, this one report, and then you can select this one, BOM list prices. I will now, I'm always, again, as I said last time, I'm saving everything down on my local drive because it makes it faster, but I will not open it right away. I will save it down and open it afterwards to show you how it looks. Okay.
Niels, I don't have that option in my ASK. It's empty.
Okay. Can you, could you please, I think you can overrule, or I will close sharing. So if you can share, I want to see how it looks.
Okay, wait a minute.
I stop share and you share.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
So if I go here, reports, and there is nothing here.
Yes, I can see that. I find that funny. What about you, Axflow guys? Do you have possibilities to generate the BOM, bill of material?
Yeah, I can get it.
Bojan and Yelena, Yelena, I will.
It doesn't work too.
And it doesn't work with you, Alexander?
Yeah.
Okay. I will contact Rafik, the Ask support guy, and I will ask him if he can update your profiles so that you can generate the BOM with list prices like Axflow can do.
Okay.
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 I will make sure that happens in the afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will take control again. Two seconds, I will just open the BOM so you all can see how it looks. I'm opening it on my other desktop, but I will drag it over right away. 2 seconds. My computer is very slow, as always. You all see the BOM here? You all see the word? Okay, good.
Yes.
So what this gives you is information about part numbers and prices. And this BOM, if you send that to the factory, they can go in and check each part number, what is available. It might be that they will be happy with you just informing them the ask number, but they will let you know if you don't need to send the BOM to them. We used to, or we were forced to do that in the past, but I have seen some of them down there being a little bit more flexible. So they accept that we just send this number up here with the item and with the solution and with the ask number and revision. One thing which came to my mind, I can't remember if I told you, so I will repeat it. When we generate an ask number, we generate this number here, which is a random number pulling out from a database. I can't give you any explanation on why it gives you R8ZC, but it's changing, of course, the more ASK files which are put into the database. But this one behind is an important. This is revision 01. This will change to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on revisions. This number here is also unique. It's the item. If you have several items in here, if I generated this one, it would have been called 002. If I had more solutions under item 1, this one would change to S023456. That is the explanation on the ASK numbers. But this is how your BOM looks. You can also use this BOM if you, for example, are quoting spare parts or plate packs. Then you can generate it, and then you can copy the numbers into your quote, numbers and text, and then you can quote spare part plate packs or loose spare parts. So it's actually a good function to be able to generate this BOM list. And I will, of course, make sure Pasilac and Clever Machines, they get this possibility. Okay. That was how to generate a BOM list. Oops. These 3 points here, or subjects, I will just skip them for the moment, for a short while, and then I will go to this point here and show you how that is done. How to generate price report, data sheet, drawings, generate arrangement drawing in 2D, plate arrangement drawing, and I know I told you that most of our heat exchangers are with 2D drawings, but there are a few modules where we can generate an AutoCAD temporary or limited 3D drawing. Few different types you can do that. And I will show you how that is done. See, now we are ready and finished. Let's say we don't want to make any changes on this heat exchanger here. We are happy with it. We want to quote it, and we want to generate the drawings on it. So what you can do is you put yourself on solution, and then be on the solution in the tree, and then change status and say configured finished. Then it's locked. Note the color here. It changes from green to blue. And the text changes, so it's now configured finished. Then you can go to plate heat exchanger up here, and you can generate your reports and drawings. Then I don't know how many possibilities you have here. It might be that you don't have this many possibilities, but nevertheless, the top one is the one we use in 98% of the cases. These ones are some special ones which were created for the EPC people for big projects, because on their data sheets they wanted to show something about share rate and other stuff. But this one, customer SPE A4, is the normal one to select. Then I save it to my folder, but here I will also just open it so you can see how it looks. So I open it right away here now. Then it's gonna ask, since it's a single section, it's gonna ask how many informations I want to show on the data sheet. Will I include thermal parameters, include fluid properties, include additional PHE specifications, that is add-ons, and include small sketch of the flow arrangement. I always have all four clicked on. I hope it's not as slow on your computer, but let's see. It's because, again, it's because I clicked in open in the quote. If I didn't do that, I would have been able to open it faster. I think I will, if I can cancel it here, and I have it saved in my C drive, so I'm opening it from there. Let's see how it looks. This is a typical data sheet with the number, with the quotation title, with the item title, with the customer reference, with the person responsible and creator, and a date. Where's the date? Here. Then it gives us information with, we put in a duty title. It gives us this information with the duty and with the thermal parameters, with the fluid properties, with the CIP. And okay, here the PHE specification, it's a 817 RK6. And down here, all the accessories, and here the small sketch of the connections. Placement. And then here we have run number 2 and run number 3. That's a typical data sheet. This data sheet, I always send to the customer. I send the quotation, I send the data sheet, and I send the drawings. For food customers, I send the plate diagram and assembly drawing. For industrial customers, I do not send the plate diagram, for they are mostly single section, one pass solutions. So there's no point in showing them that all 4 connections are on head side. That will anyhow be shown down here. Then I will show you how to do the drawings. This one, the drawing, note it will automatically make it in DXF format, which is an AutoCAD format. So again, I save it to my folder, but I change this one to PDF. And say okay. Open it and show it to you. Obviously, it opened on my other desktop. Here we have the drawing. This was an RK frame, so no end support. So we have these 3 legs with ball feeds on them. And when I talked about the ball feed plates, I mean a small plate here, which is supporting the ball feed, so you level out the pressure on the floor. It gives you indication of what type of fittings is selected, and it makes a small 3D sketch down here, and the ones which are open are of course the open ports, and the black ones here are closed. Small sketch of the fittings. Not how to say 100% correct, because this is a standard figure that it pulls in. So even though if you select a clamp, it will still show a union, but the purpose of it is to show the measurements for the fittings. If it was a clamp, it will up here be named a clamp union. When the drawing, or when you get the order on this particular heat exchanger, it will again get a unique drawing number down here. And it will be drawn by and signed by and everything. There will be some names in here. Then I know for a fact, I hope, that this particular RK frame and some others, N35 RKSs, Q, we can get 3D modules from AutoCAD, simple ones. So we can try to generate one of these. 3D, this one. And then I will try to open it so we can look at it right away. Hopefully it works. Nothing happened. Yeah, here it is. So here you have a small 3D drawing of this specific type. If you open, this is just a viewer. This e-drawing is a viewer. If you open it in AutoCAD, you will be able to move it around and turn it in other directions and so on. But it is only for limited types that it is possible to generate this 3D drawing in ASK. If you want it for types where it's not selectable, you need to select the add-on called 3D step file. Then last document to generate is the plate arrangement drawing. And this is the one you need to select. Plate arrangement only export. Didn't I save it? What? Saved it as a DXF. Why did it do that? And here we have the plate diagram. Yes. What else can we? Then there was the price report. If you want to generate a price report, you will get the overall prices. Actually, it will show you the prices on a more higher level than on the BUM. But it's done by pressing revision, and then it can be selected up here. Price report complete. And then you will get an Excel sheet for the price report. But before generating the price report, we actually have to do two more things in order to be sure that we have the right pricing on this heat exchanger. And that is I will just we will have to finish our complete configuration. And you could also say we need to release it for quote, but we can actually create the report when we are in both levels. I will go back. See, for now, we have just locked our solution here. We have not locked the other one yet. But if we put ourselves on revision and change status and say finish configuration, it will finish all the items in the quote at one time, and it will be possible for us to do discount deduction. And when I do this, you will see what it writes here, and I will tell you what it is. Finish configuration is what you need to do. Then it says, finish configuration and request final price from SAP. So this needs to be done in order to be sure that you have the latest pricing for this one, for these heat exchangers. And then there need to be a mark, always be a mark here, log revision for price adjustment, meaning that then we can deduct our discount afterwards. So I say yes. Then it made this one blue as well, and it made a percentage up here. Then we can go into the pricing tab, and we can deduct our discount, 60%. Then we get the net selling price. This is what you're gonna pay for the heat exchanger at SPX when you have deducted your discount. Save. Then I can print the report.
Yes, I don't have that option.
Okay. Probably because you're not allowed to see it. I'm not sure.
I cannot print the report, so okay.
I'm not sure why. Is that the same for the Axflow people again? Are you able to print this price report?
I'm getting an error on mine. The access path to the client/ask template is denied. on my one.
Okay. Then it looks like that you're none of you have the authority to print this one. But you could say, why do you need it? Because you can actually see the pricing here. What your price will be. I'm not sure about that, but I will have to investigate why you can't see it.
I can see it, but I cannot print the report. I can see the same screen as you have.
Could you try to share with me so I can see what happens?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Boards and it's empty here.
Yeah.
Nothing to choose. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Could you try to, if you, for example, put your mouse on the solution in the tree on the H17? If you set it there, yeah. And then press solution in the top menu, up in the top, the solution, and then generate the report from there. You were not able to generate that one. No. No. Okay. I will. Yeah, it's empty as well. Just say cancel. I will take the control back and I will try to do it. I will try to see if the discount rate comes in on the solution report instead, or on the BUM. BUM with list pricing report for price evaluation. Do you, AskFlow guys, do you have these three options as well?
Yeah, I have them, yeah.
Yeah, let me just try this one. See how it looks. Oh, that's not the one. I will investigate this about the pricing report. It might be that you that actually you shouldn't be able to do that because you already have the pricing here. I'm not sure. What type of information does this give you? This also gives you the pricing. It gives you your list price, and then yours your deducted discount. So this over here is your selling price. And this is a total. And here you have the item prices. So it could be a reason why they you shouldn't be able. I'm not sure, but I will investigate that. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, this was F7, so we get the possibility to deduct discount, and we lock our items. Then the next thing to do is to release it for quote. If you don't release it for quote, if you then in the future get an order on it, you will not be able to release it for sales order. So you need to have it released for quote to start with. And on top of that, it is a good rule of thumb to remember that always, because then you can always open in ASK and check which one have I quoted and which one haven't I quoted. So if you make a list, you can, if you want to drag out a list of what you have done, you can open, remember I showed you that the first time, and you can open it on quotation stage or uploaded stage. This is whether it's shared or local, and here you can say quotation created, release for sales order, or if it's just in progress. If you leave it open, it's just in progress. Then you can't actually see if you have quoted it or not. So always remember to release for quote when you're finished with it and you want to quote the heat exchangers. So I say F8, release for quote. Then here's an important one. This one should not have a mark, because if you put a mark here, no one else can go into your ASK file unless they are able to force share it. So don't put a mark in here when releasing for quote. See, now it's released for quote. Then there are possibilities to create a quote in ASK, a Word file quote in ASK, and use that. But most of you probably have your own quote format which you are using. But I will show you how the one we're using looks like. This is the one. I don't know how many possibilities do you have here, Bojan?
I have only the last one, 7103.
Okay, standard
We
one.
don't have anyone.
Okay. Then it's because you're using your own one in Russian, I assume. And we can, of course, try to open this one and see how it looks. I will say, let's try to open it here right away, see how it looks. But the main idea is, PDF signature not found. So it doesn't work, I suppose. It is so, if you want, if you have a specific template you're always using for your quote, you can actually send it to ASK support and ask them to download it into ASK. So when you press proposal letter, it will open up your own proposal template with your own header, PHE or AskFlow with your signature on it and blah, blah, blah. Access path denied, doesn't work. Then I will show you how mine looks. And that's an example on ours. This is the one we normally use. I open it in Word because then I can do changes in it. This is how it looks. This is an example on a template with SPX APV, but yours needs to have your own headers and everything. But these, if you have templates or Word formats on standard quote templates, I would reckon that we can send them to Ask support and ask them to incorporate it into Ask if you think that's easier. It's up to you. But when I open this one, I double click on the header and then I delete this. Sorry, this. And it comes with the standard terms and conditions. As an example, and then it points out the items with prices, and approx all of them will come with approx lead time. And then I just make some small adjustments so that everything looks nice. And then you could make this bold as an example and say 7 to 8 weeks or maybe less. And the total price. I will also ask Rafik regarding these, because I assume it could be helpful for you if you were able just to generate this one, or maybe because there is a third one which might be useful. 2 seconds, I would say don't save. Save proposal letter. There's one genetic proposal data third party. Let us have a look at how that looks. See, this is a genetic one where you then can then copy in the text into your own quote. Would that be helpful if you all had availability to this one?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I will then ask Rafik whether you can have access to this genetic third party quote template. Then at least it will generate some of the information, so it will be easier for you to make your own quote, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Plus, I'm just writing small notes here. Yes. But that's how it is. If you then get the order for this one, then what you need to do, especially, you can of course always ask Stig Christensen and I whether we want to release your quote for a sales order. But again, it's always your responsibility. You have created the ASK file, you know the inquiry. We can only just quickly skim over your solution and see if it looks okay, and then release it for sales order. But when you get more experience in this, you will be able to do it yourself. And for your Axflow guys, when you order in via the EDC, or DC, or I think it's called EDC in Axflow, if you haven't released your quote for sales order, they will come back to you and ask, this one needs to be released for sales order. or else we can't process it. They will come back from the factory informing you that. And they will actually also for you, PHE people, and for you, Alexander Clever, an ASK file, in order for it to be turned into a production order and into an actual sales order, it needs to be released for it, or else they can't process it. And since you're the one who have done it, your individual people, then you also have the responsibility for it. It will not be double checked in Bytgos. And if you're not asking me or my colleague Stig or my colleague Jos to check it, then it's your own responsibility, obviously. So let's say you get the order on this one, then let us just close this one, because if we imagine that now, 3 weeks later from today, we get the order on this one. So I open the ASK file. I place myself on the revision. I say edit all. I'm checking it out from the server. And then I place again, I keep staying on the revision I want to release for sales order. I press status, and then I say release for sales order. Then we put in the purchase order number. Date. And then since you don't have access to our SAP system, there should be no marks here. No marks. And I'm actually not sure whether you have this small text down here. I don't think you have. You only have these two fields shown here, but there should not be any mark here. Then note up here we have a small letter when we released it for quote, but when I now say release for sales order, this went away, and now it's released for sales order. My computer, my setup makes a serial number line on it. Yours will not be able to. I'm pretty sure yours will not make this serial number line. But it doesn't matter, they will create that in the factory. But now the status is released for sales order. So now the production in Poland can start working on this. So there are 3 steps. There's F7 for finish configuration. There's F8 for releasing for quote. And there is final, when you get the order, releasing for sales order. I will open this again, since it's not an order. It's just a test. So now it's open again. I will now make these ones. And actually we have here saying not applicable, but that's not true. It has to be done, release for sales order. How to make a change on a pending order. I will not show you that, because hopefully we will never end in that situation, because then it starts to get complicated. Because when everything is started up in ASK, it makes it difficult. If you want to change something on an order you already placed 2 weeks ago, you need to contact Axlo guys, you need to contact via the VIP, and PHE I don't know, you have also a specific email you address you're using, but if not, contact Salt, and Salt will get in contact with us, and we will help him changing it. And the same goes for you, Alexander. But Axflow are working in a separate way. They are using a purchase center in Netherlands called EDC, and they have a Axflow VIP address which they have to send all their requests to. Now my throat is very sore, so I need a cup of coffee. So we have 10 minutes break. So we will be back at 10:35 and continue. Hope that's okay with all of you. 10 minutes break. Yeah.
Yep.